Hey, what's up guys? Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another dual commentary on the channel today. So this is going to be for round 2 of my current online Discord tournament. If you guys would like to participate in the next one, definitely go ahead and check out the link to the server. I'll leave a link to the Discord in the description box below as per usual. But this is going to be a match between Bob Ross BB on Cyberdragon versus CookieCat22 on Numeron Eldlich with a little bit of zombie splashed in here. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. We are going to be seeing Cyberdragon winning the RPS, but as is tradition, going to opt to actually go second. So the opener for Eldlich is going to be double copies of Rivalry, Scarlet, Conquistador, and Doom King Bailey's Rock. Always likes to open this card. You'd rather either send it off of something like a Unizombie if you're playing it, or you can summon it off of Scarlet if you have Golden Lord already established. But this hand is pretty decent. It has both halves of the Eldlich package and a Floodgate as well. You can see there is a focus on Zombie World if you're playing the traditional lock between Rivalry plus Zombie World, quite a strong one at that. No Numeron cards here, though, so it's just going to be Eldlich for the time being. And then for Cyberdragon, we're going to see the opening hand be Cyberdragon, Red Eyes Black Dragon, because we're on the Dragoon package, of course, Rev System, Gamma, and Repair Plant. So this hand is going to need quite a lot of help going second as far as finding play enablers. But there are ways to combat combo decks, which this unfortunately is not one. So we're just going to see Eldlich set 3 and pass turn before we see Cyberdragon top deck a copy of Nibiru, which is going to be another pretty dead card in the matchup, apart from being a light for maybe Galaxy Soldier. But not really anything to do in this hand, so just going to have to pass back. And then in the end phase, we're going to see Eldlich activate the Scarlet. That's going to allow them to grab a copy of Golden Lord. And then for turn, we're going to see the top deck be Super Poly, so more synergy with the Zombie World package, of course. We're going to see the banishing of Scarlet. That's going to enable a set Walkero before moving this Lord into attack position and then going to battle phase, attacking for 2500, and then proceeding to main phase 2, where they'll set a copy of Super Poly and then pass turn. For turn, we're going to see Ash Blossom be the top deck, which, all these hand traps and no combo cards. But we are going to see him special summon a copy of Cyberdragon now that there is finally a monster on the Eldlich board. Then he's going to actually go to the battle phase and attack into this Golden Lord, which will prompt this Conquistador. I think they were anticipating maybe limited removal shenanigans or at least some tricks in the battle phase. So since there is no other way to put Lord on the board, I would rather kind of protect it and keep this Walk Hero potentially alive. Which makes sense, but I'm pretty sure he's doing this just to get the Repair Plant live, since that is pretty much the only real play. But yeah, can't really blame Eldlich for trying to protect the Lord if they were suspecting maybe a way to get rid of it here in the battle phase. But either way, the goal of getting Cyberdragon in the grave was accomplished, so that's going to enable the Repair Plant. To which I think Eldlich makes a little bit of a misstep here. So they go for a Walkero to banish the Cyberdragon. I think misreading the Repair Plant wording, where the Cyberdragon being in graveyard is just the activation requirement, so it doesn't actually stop Repair Plant from searching the copy of Core here. So maybe just a little bit of unfamiliarity with the matchup. But Core is going to be added regardless, and that's going to be normal summoned, grabbing a copy of the Emergency. And then he's going to link away this Core into a copy of Salamangreat Almirage, and that's going to be met with a flipped copy of Rivalry, which actually is, quite severe, given the fact that, of course, there's not really any plays to make at this stage, that involve Cybers monsters. So just going to have to pass on this. And then for turn, we're going to see Eldlich draw a copy of Walkero. Going to go to main phase 1, link away these Golden Land traps into a copy of Avenged Savior. This card's really cool in this deck, since it can Foolish Burial, of course, the zombie monsters. Going to set 2, go to battle phase, and attack over this Almirage, using the effect here to send a copy of Banshee, which is really nice, accessing the zombie world. Now, the Cyberdragon player takes a little bit too much damage here. He took 2400, I think, assuming that this actually gained attack, where it makes the opponent's monster lose attack instead. But that's actually not going to matter here, because we're going to see the Golden Lord attack for 25. And then still in the battle phase, going to Super Poly away these monsters into the Nether Soul Dragon, rather. So he would have been at 1400, but this would still seal the game. So that is going to be the end of game number 1. So pretty good showcase, or pretty good rather, ability for the Eldlich deck to grind. Granted, of course, Cyberdragon kind of just bricked there, not really being able to make any good plays, and then getting locked out of Rivalry. But we're going to move on now to game number 2 here, where Cyber Dragon is going to opt to go second yet again. If you guys are enjoying this commentary, definitely be sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new here to see more commentaries similar to this style. But the opening for Eldlich is going to be Zombie World, Black Awakening, Golden Lord, Walkero, and Baylordrox. So no Numeron cards again just yet. This hand is also a little bit slow, and drawing the Baylordrox again is just not ideal. So it's just going to most likely be a very slow start. But then for Cyber Dragon, the hand is Juzukuru, Cyframe Gamma, Lightning Storm, Cyber Dragon Core, and Skullmeister. So Meister is pretty good against the Eldritch stuff, of course. Interesting to see Gamma still being kept in, especially after that game 1. Maybe there's not enough cards to side in, because obviously he has put in the Lightning Storm and stuff. But we're going to see the Eldritch player go ahead and activate the copy of Black Awakening. That's going to grab them a copy of Golden Lord before setting Walkero, activating Zombie World, and passing turn. For turn, we're going to see a top deck Machine Dupe, which would actually normally be kind of bad against Zombie World, right? Because it kind of just gets shut off here. But Lightning Storm is going to come in to save the day here. So that's going to be activated to wipe away the back row. And then Cyber Dragon Core is going to be normal summoned. That's going to search for a copy of Emergency. And now Machine Dupe can be freely used thanks to Zombie World being off the field. That's going to net 2 copies of Cyber Dragon, and now we are off to the races. This is going to enable the Nova to hit the board before going into a copy of Infinity. And then Emergency is going to grab a copy of Cyber Dragon to hand. He goes ahead and actually uses the Juzukuru next to tribute over the Golden Lord, but I think maybe it would have been worth it to hold this in hand and then just absorb the core, attach it with the Infinity rather, because that would make the Infinity 29. It would be 3, 5, 7, 9, and that can attack over the Lord at that point. But here he's going to instead opt to use Infinity to attach the Juzukuru and then get in for 3,300 damage. And then in main phase 2, we're going to see the core turn into a copy of Almirage before passing. For turn, we're going to see Eldritch top deck a copy of Walkero. In main phase 1, we're going to see the Black Awakening be used, and that's actually going to be allowed. I'm not going to use the Skullmeister there. Going to set a copy of Guardian, which is actually an answer to Dragoon, although I don't think we saw Dragoon in game 1 from Eldritch's perspective. We saw him open the Red Eyes, but of course, that's not public info. But Lord Effect going to send the Walkero. That's going to force Infinity here. And now Lord Effect is going to be using Graveyard to try and send away this Guardian, but that's going to be the Skullmeister target right there. So unfortunate, because this would have been the out to the Infinity, but the Meister putting an end to that. So now just going to be forced to go into the end phase where they're going to banish the Walkero as well as the Guardian to set a copy of White Destiny as well as the Scarlet, but notably there is no interruption here. So we are going to see the top deck of Emergency, which was honestly quite perfect there, because this is just going to enable a lot of really strong plays here. So Cyber Emergency is going to grab a copy of Core from deck. And then we're going to see the normal summon of Core right after that. That's going to net a copy of Repair Plant. And then from this position, just going to go straight into Anaconda, excuse me. That's going to pay 2,000, send the materials for Dragoon, and then go into a copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. And from there, that's going to be the end of the game. There's not really any point in ever really using the the Scarlet or the White Destiny that was set, because either they'd be negated or they just put more bodies on board for Dragoon to burn. So either way, since they were on 4,700 life points, it was going to be game regardless. So we're going to move now on to game number 3 here, where we're going to see Eldritch go first yet again. So going first all 3 games here. The opener is going to be Golden Lord, Rivalry, Numeron Network, so finally some of the Numeron engine, Super Poly, as well as Cursed Eldland. So this has a little bit of everything. Just kind of a little bit slow in terms of the Eldritch stuff, because only really getting access to one of the traps at the current moment. But they're going to have to commit the Lord if they want to get a bit more value there. And then for Cyber Dragon, the hand is going to be Skullmeister, Repair Plant, Core, Machine Dupe, and Galaxy Soldiers. So this is quite a nice hand going second. A lot of play starters. And a Meister to back it up for the Eldritch package. Main phase 1, we're going to see the Cursed Eldland. That's going to pay 100 to search for a copy of Conquistador. And they're actually going to use the Golden Lord here to send away this Conquistador to move the Eldland to the graveyard, where that'll trigger and that'll grab a copy of Walkero to grave. You could maybe make the argument that this could have sent the Super Poly to graveyard, keeping the Conch in hand so that this can grab Scarlet, and then they'll have Scarlet Conch. because the Super Poly is not going to be live this turn due to network probably going to just be used for the Utopic Zexal, and then this is going to be set. So likely this is going to be dead. But Eldlich is actually planning a little bit farther ahead, as you'll see a little bit later. So Rivalry is going to be set, and then Network is going to be activated. That's going to use its effect to send a copy of Calling to summon out 3 Numeron Gates, and then overlaying all of them for a copy of Zexal, of course, and then just passing on this. Before, of course, moving to the end phase where the Conch and the Wakera will be used to grab a Scarlet and a White Destiny. Player will now pass over to Cyber Dragon, which is going to be Ash for the turn, right on time as usual. But from here, we're of course going to see Zexal be shotgunned. This is the one game where I think he would have been happy to see Gamma, but of course, unfortunately, that is not the way things panned out. So we're going to just have to be content with setting a copy of Core and passing turn. Now we're going to see in the end phase, Scarlet be used, and then going to chain White Destiny. So this is the kind of planning I was talking about before with the previous player keeping the Super Poly, because this allows them to grab a copy of Lord from Graveyard, and then the Sanguine will actually summon a copy of Necro Banshee. So this will now enable the Zombie World, which will turn on the Super Poly a lot more readily. So I think just anticipating that the Zexal would have been enough, not really valuing the Conch there, but valuing the access to Zombie World, which is definitely reasonable for sure. And of course, you can't Ash the Scarlet because Zexal. So play passes back to the Eldlich player, who draws a copy of Numeron Networks. So that's just free pitch fodder for Super Poly, I guess. Going to set the Super Poly and then go banish the White Destiny. That's going to be Meistered. It still does get banished, of course, because it is a cost. But we are going to see Scarlet also be banished. That is going to set a copy of Conch from the deck. And then going to move Golden Lord to attack position and then attack into this set copy of Core. And then attack for 25 before passing. For turn, we're going to see Cyber Dragon draw a copy of Evenly, which would be good if not for, of course, Zexal being here. I think maybe, I wonder if he was caught off guard by the Zexal since we just saw no Numeron cards either game 1 or 2. But Zexal is going to, lock out the turn yet again. So we're going to just set the Ash and hope it's enough. End phase, we're going to see them use a copy of Banshee, or the copy of Banshee rather, on the field, because it can be used from the field. And that's going to place a copy of the Zombie World from deck. And for turn, we're going to see a top decked Ghost Ogre, which is kind of surprising to see against Cyber Dragon, but maybe there's not enough good cards to side in for it. But we're going to see Rivalry flipped, and then this happened to be a misclick, I do believe. I meant to actually set this card. And then going to go into battle phase and attack with this Golden Lord. So it's going to be over the Ash here. I think if they opted to keep this Necro Banshee on the field, a Lord could have attacked over, and then the Banshee would have attacked for 18, and then this Zexal could have been switched to attack position, attack for 1,000, so that would be 2,800 damage, so 55 minus 28 is 27, and then you could use the Super Poly in the battle phase to fuse away the Banshee and the Golden Lord. Or you can flip a Conquistador, attack for 500, and then use that on the Conquistador. But Super Poly could have gotten out Nether Soul, which would have been the 3k needed for game. So I think there's actually a line to OTK, but unfortunately, because this Banshee wasn't on the field, there's not really a great line here. But at the end of battle phase, we are going to see Evenly come down, which is quite good. Here, Eldlich also could have used Conquistador to activate and respond and then pop itself, just to keep a trap and grave. Or it could have popped the Lord as well. But instead, just going to banish everything, leaving the Zexal here. And it's going to pass. And then the draw phase, we're going to see Zexal be used for the final time. So this is a position where I think you are definitely fine if you are in Cyber Dragon's spot. He actually sets the Cyber Dragon hers instead of attacking over the Zexal, which incidentally actually plays around this last copy of Network. But for turn, we're going to see the top deck be a Conquistador. Gonna set it and then pass from there. And then we're gonna see another copy of Galaxy Soldier be drawn for turn. And this is the position where Cyber Dragon will just take over the game. So Repair Plant gonna be used because Core was sent to Graveyard earlier. That's going to search for a copy of Core. Gonna normal summon Core after that. That's gonna add a copy of Emergency. And then Machine Dupe is gonna bring out 2 copies of Cyber Dragon. and then going to overlay for Nova. That's going to prompt the copy of Conquistador just to act as a blocker, but it's going to be game here regardless. Infinity is going to be stacked on top, and then going to use the emergency here to grab a copy of hers, and then I can Galaxy Soldier and use the hers. And that is going to be, I believe, the end of the game right there. Going to, just be a concession. Right there, he could have easily just gone for Dragoon and then pop the board and then attack for game. So, yeah, I think that was actually a pretty interesting game 3. There was a very kind of weird line to OTK from Eldlich's perspective, but it would have required kind of a lot of planning ahead for that. But regardless, Cyber Dragon managing to weather the storm of 3 turns of Zexal and managing to go for game on the crackback. So very, very good stuff. So if you guys do want to see the other match or other matches in the poll that I put up, I believe I put it up like last week or so, definitely go ahead and let me know about that. The other matches were, I believe, Zodiac Eldlich versus Drytron, and then there was, let's check real fast. There was Dragoon Eldlich versus Sky Striker. I'm kind of inclined to showcase off Zodiac Eldlich versus Drytron just because it's more of a meta match, but let me know if you guys want to see any of those. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more informative and competitive video content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms or support me via Patreon TCG Player. All the links in the description as usual. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.